let's take a look at the first graph. Well, the first graph is y is greater than or equal to the absolute value of x plus 3 minus 2. Remember, absolute value graphs, that's the ones with these little bars, have a V shape. Normally, they start at the origin, but the plus 3 and the minus 2 are going to do something to that. Remember, the plus 3 is actually going to shift us to the left 3, and the minus 2 is going to shift the graph down 2. So we're going to go to the left 3, and then down 2, and then that's where my V shape is going to be. Be careful before you draw it. What kind of V shape is it going to be, solid or dotted? Well, remember, the greater than or equal to means that we're going to be drawing a solid line here for our V shape. Again, it does not have to be perfect, but there it is. Okay, now we need to test a point. Make sure that whatever point you are testing is not on the line. If you can't tell based on your drawing whether or not 0, 0 is on your line, pick something else. Be safe. Pick something like -3, 0. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to test for this one, -3, 0. And I'm going to be careful. I should be drawing a mock-up here on the other side as well. We went over to the left 3 end, down 2. We drew our V. And let's see, we drew our V. And we're testing the point -3, 0 to see if that's going to work. By plugging it into our original inequality, which was y is greater than or equal to the absolute value of x plus 3 minus 2. So let's see what happens. I'm plugging in a -3 for x and a 0 for y. Well, that will give me 0 is greater than or equal to, well, let's see here. -3 plus 3 will give me a 0 here, and the absolute value of 0 is 0. Minus the 2 will give me a -2. So here's the question. Is 0 greater than or equal to -2? Yes, it is. So what does that mean? It means that that point -3, 0 does work. So that means we'll shade that side of our graph. So I'm going to shade the inside of my V on my mock-up. Remember, I'm not going to shade anything on my final graph until I know what the overlap is. So that's good enough for now. Okay, first graph done. Second graph. Let's see. Second graph is the graph y is less than 2. Remember, if you've just got x's or y's, that's one of your special graphs. Because it's just y's, the HOI tells us that that's a horizontal line at 2. Now remember, it says less than, not less than or equal to, which also means my horizontal line is going to be dotted at 2. So I'm going to draw in my horizontal dotted line at 2 on both graphs. But I'm only going to do my shading on my little graph off to the side. Well, let's see what happens. Well, if you're not sure what y less than 2 would be shaded, test a point. I'm going to test the point over here, 0, 0, because it's not on the line, which means plugging in 0 for y, because there's no x. So it would give me 0 is less than 2. Is 0 less than 2? Yes, it is, which means that 0, 0 works, which means we will shade that side of the horizontal line. We'll shade the side that 0, 0 is on. That means we're going to shade all of this below it. below the horizontal line. All of this stuff. But that's not my final answer. My final answer is only the part where I have an overlap. Where does the red and the blue overlap? Well, it overlaps in this triangular section. That's my overlap. That's the only part of my final graph that I should be coloring. So when I go over to the left of my final graph, I'm only going to try and shade that triangular piece in the center. That's my final graph. It's that overlapping section. And I am done. And that's about as complicated as we're going to get. But what is it saying that we have to remember how to do? We have to remember how to graph parabolas. We have to remember how to graph our V-shapes, our absolute values. We have to remember how to graph circles. So we're not just doing lines, we're doing all the other graphs that we've learned this semester. That's a lot to remember.